So today we're gonna be working on the CRX. We are close to done. Last things left to do for the CRX is axles. Probably one of the most expensive parts on a swap for a J swap are axles and motor mounts. But motor mounts are probably before that. I mean, the engine, complete engine swap is probably the most expensive, but if you got a good deal like I did, then you're good. Besides that, today I'm going to show you guys how to build your own axles using stock OEM parts. This might not work for DCs or EGs or EKs, but it might not. I don't know the measurements of the axles, but I know that Hasport sells axles for EG and DC swaps, which are the same as the same axles that they use for EF swaps with the J swap, because I asked them and they told me that they use the same axles. That's how I know. But I didn't want to spend $450 just to buy some axles. So I'm building my own for free, besides a new outer joint that I had to buy because cheap AutoZone axles won't work, and I'll explain later. Stay tuned for this, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. It's not that hard. Okay guys, these are the axles from the Acura CL Type S. These are the stock OEM ones. They're 36mm outer joints, which will not work with your 32mm hubs on the CRX or EF. So here I have the driver side. This measurement I have on here, 18 1/4. That's the length that I measured from. That's the length that I need for my swap, and I'll show you guys how I measured that and got that measurement. Alright, so this is how you're gonna measure the axles. As you can see, this is how I measured it. I measured it from the transmission, as you can see all the way over there. Measure it from the transmission seal right there, the transmission seal right there, all the way down to the hub, which is going to sit right there. So you measure it to there to there to get the length of how long you need the axle, so you don't cause any binding or any issues when you have the axle installed. These are a little bit longer, and where I measure it from is from where it sits here on the hub to this side right here, to the end of that where it sits on the transmission or the half shaft. So I'd measure from here, and make sure you compress these before you do the measurements, because how I measure that, I just push it up against here and I was able to get the compressed length. Right now it's at 21. For the driver's side, it's 18 1/4. On the passenger side, I need an axle that's 19.375 inches. And this one was too long by 1/2 inch. And this one was too long by 2.5 inches. So what I did was I used B series axles. All you need to swap out on B series axles are, this one is the, shoot, I can't remember. This one might be the This is the shorter axle, so it could be the driver's side or the passenger, I forget, but it's one of them. I'll have to check back with you guys whenever I figure that out. But you're gonna use a B series axle, and you're gonna use a passenger axle in order to get the axle lengths correct for an automatic swap into the EF. So we're gonna use these two right here, which is the passenger. This one's still gonna be a passenger side. This one's gonna be the driver's side, the B series one. You're able to swap the joints because these axles, the spline on the inside, they're 32 teeth splines, so they swap perfectly. But I'm gonna show you guys what you have to swap out. I've already kind of taken them apart, so I'm not gonna take this one back off because I've already put it together. But I'll show you guys what's on the inside. So for the driver's side, I had removed the outer joint from the passenger side. I mean the driver's side. Sorry, the driver's side. I removed the inner joint and replaced it with the B series inner joint. So now this is gonna go straight into the transmission, and we're not gonna use this one. So this one's pretty much done. What you do is cut off the two clamps, cut off this clamp. You don't really have to take this one off. I didn't. I just removed this because I'm taking off the outer joint. These come off pretty easily, so that just comes right off and then comes out like this. I've already removed the grease, so this is the B series inner joint. Okay, and then this is also the B series bearings. You can't use the bearings from the CL axles because it's not going to seat into the outer joint. So what you do is there's a lock ring. I didn't put it back because I'm not using this axle, but there's a lock ring. This one has a lock ring that goes around there. This one's easy to take off. It's not a C-clip, but the one on the B series is a C-clip, so you got to use a special tool or pliers to take it off. But this one you can just pry it out with two flatheads or something, whatever. It's easy. Get this one out, and then you're gonna tap this out, and it should come off pretty easy. The B series one took quite a bit of work to come out, but it came out. So you're gonna swap this onto the B series, and the B series one you don't need to put it on here, but you can toss it or just put it on here, and that's pretty much all you need to do. And now it's perfect length. It's short by 1/4 of an inch, but I'd rather have it a little shorter than longer because we don't want any and this one, now the passenger side, I'm gonna get this one out of the way. Alright, so we're gonna move on to the passenger side. I've already taken it off, but I'm gonna show you guys what's on the inside. Take this off, cut off the clamp, and what you're gonna do to take it off, you're gonna have to hold this back, if not cut it off. You're gonna turn the axle all the way so that you can see the raceway right there. It's kind of greasy, but it's right there, and you just tap on that and it should pop right off. I'm going to show you what happens with cheap Chinese axles you get from like any auto parts store, AutoZone or wherever, O'Reilly's. Some of those places, they have some cheap axles which aren't meant to, these aren't meant to be removed. So I'm going to show you what happens. Alright, so this is the B series axle. This is the other side. I'm pretty sure this might be the driver's side. I don't know, forget. But anyways, Yeah, look at that. That is totally cracked, and it did not budge. It would not come out, and I didn't learn until I broke 3. Okay, I broke 2. Okay, so yeah, don't even try, because that stuff's not gonna come off on those Chinese axles. They're not gonna come off. These OEM axles, these popped off right away pretty easily. So you pop it off, it's gonna come out. Watch out for all this grease that's gonna come out. Clean it up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this off because I'm gonna put a new boot on. And this, you could probably toss it, but if you want to keep it, keep it. Alright, here's the new outer joint. Comes with a new lock ring, which is usually good to replace it, but I'm not gonna replace it because oftentimes putting this one on is a pain in the ass, and you could, you know, stretch it a little bit too far where it's not gonna seat well, and you won't be able to stick this on there. So it's a new one, 32. Make sure you get the one that has 32 tooth. This will fit right on there, and this is a 32 millimeter compared to this 36 millimeter that I had there. Okay, the kit came with some heavy duty grease for axles, and I'm gonna use this one for just one. This is good enough for one axle or one joint. However, I bought this Lucas extra heavy duty grease that, you know, you could use it on this and it works. I've heard good reviews on it, and it's pretty good. It works for high speed bearings, boat trailers, high temperatures, extreme pressure, irregular maintenance, long-term economy, electrical contacts, and CV joints. So should work well for here. It's a greenish color. I'm gonna use this one on that joint, but for this joint we're gonna use this one because it's Kotek grease. First thing you want to do is get the joint, and you're just gonna squeeze it until it starts to come out of these bearings right there. There it is. It starts to come out on the sides. Squeeze it in here. Okay, here comes the a little bit difficult, maybe. I don't know if you get lucky. I don't know if you can see it. There's the ring, the snap ring that goes around it. Right there. There's a snap ring right there. What you want to do is, when you're putting it on, you're gonna come from this side and you're gonna push it in. You're gonna push this in right there so that you'll be able to pop it into place in there. Alright, the axle is in place. All I did was actually just set it on the ground facing up and tapped it with a hammer. Slightly, not too hard. It just popped right in. And it is in there. That is not coming out. Just for good measure, we're gonna measure it now. Probably a better way to measure this, but I'm doing it by myself, so press from there to there. It is at 19 3/4, which is about half an inch longer. But we're just gonna try it out and see how well it works, because they don't make automatic swap axles, even though automatic and manual Acura TL and CL Type S axles are the same, but that's a whole different car. So we're just gonna have to see if these work. Here's the C-clip right there on the B series. You're gonna have to pry that open, take it off, and what you're gonna do is take the CL Type S raceway, whatever that's called, and you're gonna slide it on there. You're gonna have to tap it on, and then you're gonna put the C-clip, this C-clip back. You don't want to use the other one, because the other one doesn't look too good, and it kind of stretches quite easily, and the C-clip works pretty well to hold it into place. So that's what I used, this C-clip. Put this on, put the C-clip on, and you're pretty much set. This is the driver's side, so this goes straight into the transmission. Get yourself some of this, and we're just gonna do it by hand. Just gonna get your fingers all up in there, get a nice goop of it, just stuff it in there, guys. Get it all up in there. They're gonna sit on. Get your bearings, put it back, spin around a little bit if you want. Let's just dip this in there, yeah? Put it on. Grab this one, dip it in there too. Oh yeah. Alright. Let's put it back together. Get this. Okay, the CL Type S one, it goes on a little bit harder because these bearings like to move out. So what you kind of have to do, it's kind of off camera because it's kind of heavy. It's gonna want to slide in two of them, and one is just not gonna want to go in. So just gotta keep trying. If that don't work, just put. There it goes. Okay, axles back together. Looks good. Take your clamp, slide it on, put it in place. Make sure this is on all the way before you clamp it down. Alright, and we are good. Done. And now you got yourselves a nice driver's side axle. Driver's side axle has the inner joint from the Acura CL Type S and the outer joint from the B series, using a B series shaft. Alright, so I lied. Not really. I had to test it out just to see if the axle was gonna fit for the passenger side, and it does not fit. It's too long, probably by 1 inch or an inch and a half maybe. So that means that I'm gonna go with the B series axle and the B series shaft, and this is the new axle. So can't use the Acura CL Type S passenger axle because it's too long. So I'm going to be swapping out the inner joints, B series inner joint with the other inner joint, and it should work because the driver's side axle, I used the driver's side B series axle shaft with the outer joint, so that was a perfect length one. It fit perfect, and I tested the other side to the passenger side, and it worked well too. So, but it's short by maybe an inch, and the passenger axles are close to an inch longer, which is gonna make up for that inch that's short. So this B series passenger axle will be used on the passenger side with the J swap, using outer joints from the CL Type S, and inner joints from the CL Type S and outer joints from the B series. Got it? Good. And there you have it, 2 axles for an automatic EF J32A2 swap. Here's your driver's side and your passenger side.